stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon. I know there's nobody here yet, but that is okay. Yeah, I can do some stuff. Oh, don't read that. I'm just removing some stuff, and I'm going to put up a link. But I'll have to do it a couple of times because people can only see. There we go. Oh, that's not going to work on a ticker, Dion. That will have to go into chat. All right. Hi, Chris. Hi, Patricia. That right there, what I did is I posted a PDF on emotional sobriety. This is what I'll be reading. You don't have to, but there's a lot of people I know that like to read along, and not everybody has language of the heart. So I kind of have all the books so that I can cover everything. And even then, I don't have all of them. I don't have Chuck C, new pair of glasses. I don't have, there's a lot of stuff that I actually don't have. But today we're going to be reading out of this. And what the language of the heart is the grapevine writings that Bill W. had put together over the years. And there's one in here called Emotional Sobriety. Okay. It's called The Next Frontier, Emotional Sobriety. I discovered this a few years back when I was going through my anxiety, through my PTSD, through a lot of my depression. This was able to help me with a lot of this. Okay. But it took me some time. And, emotional sobriety is like anything else. You have to keep on top of it. It's a way of life. It's not a theory. Emotional sobriety is something that we have to live. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and open up this book. It's not going to be hard for me to find it because it's where I'm always at. So, literally, whoop, I don't even have to turn the pages because it's marked. I don't think I've read anything else in this book. Maybe I should. I'm going to have more time to read because I just removed, I had 1,850 friends and I have less than 300 now on my Facebook. And I did that for a couple of reasons. Number one, I did it because I was tired of people fucking spying on me. I was tired of it. Fucking tired. And that's the main reason I did it. And I decided that everybody on my friends list is either going to be number one, I have to know them. If I don't know you, you're not on my friends list, period. Okay. I'm working with you in some kind of fashion. I probably love you, your family, or you support what it is that I do. Those are the only people allowed on my Facebook anymore. And even this is going to kind of turn into an invite only kind of thing. Okay. Anybody that's been participating, that listens, anything, you're already invited. But it's going to be switching a little bit and moving. Should not affect you guys. Should not affect you. Okay, so let's get started on the next frontier, emotional sobriety. I did not do introductions. I apologize. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I've been doing this, going live for a little while now, every day, sometimes twice a day. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. And if you're ever, I would highly recommend checking out our YouTube channel. My YouTube channel has over 1,700 videos on it. Okay? All about recovery. It's all about recovery. So go check it out. You can find daily reflections. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the original ones from the first year. Those are the ones I wish I still had because I'd like to go back and and see what I was like. Anyway, so let's get started on this. So, this article is the substance of a letter Bill wrote to a close friend who also had troublesome depression. So, Bill is known. Let's just not single out Bill. We've been putting alcohol. We have put alcohol in us for years, and alcohol is a depressant. You're depressed. You've got depression. Every member of AA has depression. Man. Whether they need to see a primary care physician or anything beyond that, a lot of times, no. Oh, Chris, I'll just send you the link, man. I'll just send you the link and then you hit subscribe and you're all done. So I'll send it to you. You don't need to try and find it. So yes, we all have depression in varying amounts. Some of us, you know, mine was a primary care physician therapy kind of thing, but there were a lot of things in here that solved this for me. So let's just get on with the reading. I think that many oldsters who have put our AA booze cure to severe but successful tests find they often lack emotional sobriety. Perhaps they will be the spearhead for the next major development in AA and the development of much more real maturity and balance, which is to say, humility in our relations with ourselves, with our fellows, and with God. Now, I wish it would have happened, but they were not the spearhead. They weren't. Okay. There's a lot of people in AA that have been around for a little while that refuse to work on their trauma. Okay. And that is their business. Leave them alone. Okay. Leave them alone. Okay. These old timers, and I'm mostly talking baby boomers, but you have no idea the kind of shit that they went through to make sure that AA was still here for us. So show some respect, man. Show a little respect to the people that have 10 plus years. Because if you don't, you have no idea yet. Hit that 10 years and you'll hit some revelations. I'm almost at 7. I've had 10 plus years before. Those adolescent urges that so many of us had for top approval, perfect security, and perfect romance, urges quite appropriate to the age of 17, proved to be an impossible way of life when we're at the age of 47 or 57. That is saying that we have become emotionally stunted. And it has been my experience and the experience of plenty of other people that when you started drinking, that's where you emotionally got stunted. I started drinking at 13. So therefore, I was trying to handle my problems as a 13-year-old the rest of my life during my drinking career. Okay. And why was that? Because I was so used to using my mom, using my family, teachers, friends. I didn't have any friends. I'm just naming off people. Teachers didn't have an influence in my life. They didn't give a fuck about me. Okay. I was just a nuisance in their classroom. And I couldn't even tell you a lot of my teachers' names, and I didn't go to high school. Yay! I hated high school. High school sucked. Why? Because I didn't feel like I belonged. Here we are again, back to that emotional sobriety and us feeling all we're doing is trying to fit in. And we don't know how. I didn't know how to fit in. I still don't know how to fit in. Confuses the fuck out of me. I don't understand popularity. That's why I get frustrated with my numbers sometimes. That's why I got rid of a lot of that. I was doing is I was letting people live in my head rent free, and I was doing it every fucking day. Okay? So I had to put up some boundaries for Dion. They were personal boundaries. Doesn't have much to do with anybody else. I'm the one doing it to me. Some people would be like, "Oh, you're not my friend anymore." We weren't friends in the first fucking place. Okay? To me, friendship means something much more. Which shouldn't be a friends list. It should be an acquaintance list. And people thinking that Facebook is a way to communicate. and it's not. It's a convenience. So we are stunted with our emotional growth, right? And when you're 27 years old and you throw yourself on the ground and have a hissy fit, people don't really want to be around you. Okay. Why? Because you're acting like a little fucking kid. And this is what it comes down to. I hate hearing it. I hate saying it, but it's true. I had to grow up. Dion had to grow up emotionally. My emotions. Yeah. See, Chris, you did the same thing as me. You just went a different route. Yeah. See, you were looking, but you were probably looking for that camaraderie, that place to belong. And Marine Corps is a good place to do that. You can definitely find that there. I don't have much else to say on it because I've never been in the Marine Corps. So, since AA began, I've taken immense wallops in all these areas because of my failure to grow up emotionally and spiritually. My God, how painful it is to keep demanding the impossible, and how very painful to discover, finally, that all along we have had the cart before the horse. Then comes the final agony of seeing how awfully wrong we have been, but still finding ourselves unable to get off the emotional merry-go-round. That's where I would find myself, an emotional merry-go-round. Okay. For years, people told me, Jim, that's a resentment. That's a resentment. I'm like, no, it's not. Trust me. It felt different. It was different. It wasn't a resentment. It was trauma. It was trauma. Yes, Chris, I am still growing up too. Trying. Absolutely. I'm a Toys R Us kid. I I'm still a kid at heart, and a lot of us are like that because we didn't have a childhood. So we come into AA and suddenly we're having fun again, and we can feel like little kids again. That part's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Okay? If you're out there doing good, having fun, I don't care if you're acting too. That's fine. Right? But it's when we start demanding things from other people to provide us with what we need to feel secure. That's when it becomes wrong. Then comes the final agony. Okay. How to translate a right mental conviction into right emotional result, and so into easy, happy, and good living. Well, that's not only the neurotics problem, it's the problem of life itself for all of us who have gotten to the point of real willingness to hew to right principles in all of our affairs. Some days you see that I'm frustrated because I feel, and this is what's going on right there. I'm trying to hew away at the things when really I just need to get to the point of willingness. But joy, I had finished the steps and joy still eluded me. I did not feel I've been on steps 10, 11, and 12 for 5 years. Okay. Um, I did not start feeling joyous and free till about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer, year and a half. It took, and I still go to therapy every week. Every week. I still do EMDR, you bet. That doesn't end. Shit still keeps popping up. I'm 52. I went through a lot of stuff. I've got to give myself that chance. I hear you, Chris. I need more joy too. That's why I'm doing this. I'm hoping to I've only got what, a couple of weeks to the end of this year, and this is the year of healing. And I need a little bit more healing going on. And we need it in our community. I'm also going to be doing it with the rest of my family, probably today. All right. Even then, as we hew away, peace and joy still elude us. That's How shall we, how shall our unconscious, from which so many of our fears, compulsions, and phony aspirations still stream, be brought in line with what we actually believe, know, and want? How to convince our dumb, raging, and hidden Mr. Hyde becomes our main task. What he is saying is that we hide our depression. That's Bill likes to fluff everything up. I love the way he writes. I love the way he writes. But what he's saying here is that we're still hiding. We're hiding from our emotions as fear. It's fear. It is fear driven because we really don't know. So there's a lot of people with depression that hide it very well. Robin Williams is a good, okay? Robin Williams had been clean and sober. He was clean and sober when he passed. And he had been sober for a very long time. Right after Mork and Mindy, he got sober. And those of you who don't know Mork and Mindy, then he was probably sober longer than you were alive. Right? So that's what he's saying. People with mental illnesses, we know how to hide it. We become very good because we don't want people poking the bear. Okay? If I'm having a PTSD moment, you come poke the bear, I'm going to I will go off. So I have to do certain things. Okay. I've recently come believe that this can be achieved. And he's right. It can be achieved. I believe so because I begin to see many benighted ones, folks like you and me, commencing to get results. Last autumn, depression, having no really rational cause at all, almost took me to the cleaners. You guys know what that means, right? Dead. Right? I began to be scared that I was in for another long chronic spell. Considering the grief I've had with depressions, it wasn't a bright prospect. You know when depression is coming on. You can feel it, right? I take meds for my depression. Okay? I'm and here's the thing. When it comes to anything, like, okay, I'm on meds, but you got to do something with it. See, the meds make it so that I can work on these problems so that I need less of the meds. That's how it works. I kept asking myself, why can't the 12 steps work to release depression? By the hour, I stared at the St. Francis prayer. It's better to comfort than to be comforted. Here was the formula, all right, but why didn't it work? There wasn't a chance of making the outgoing love of St. Francis a workable and joyous way of life until these fatal and almost absolute dependencies were cut away. I would not. Well, Chris, if I'm making you shake and I'm traumatizing you, then I would probably go ahead and um it's up to you, but you don't have to hang out if this is traumatizing you, dude. That's not what this is for. So, in other words, we have a lot of fatal and absolutely dependencies on other people, and we must get rid of them because if we don't, we never have the capacity to grow up. Okay. There's another element in here, though. There's another element. Because over the years, because I had over the years undergone a little spiritual development, the absolute quality of these frightful dependencies had never before been so starkly revealed. Reinforced by what grace I could secure in prayer, I found I had to exert every ounce of will and action to cut off these faulty emotional dependencies upon people, upon AA, indeed, upon any set of circumstances whatsoever. Okay. As long as you're okay, dude. You kind of scared me there. Okay. So we're going to have to exert our will. And it's okay. It's okay to exert your will. It's God's will. Okay? So you're going to have to use all your willpower to cut these off. Okay? Don't think your willpower is no good. It is. Your willpower works just fine. Just not with alcohol and drugs and anything addictive. Other than that, it's fine. Right? So we have to, in other words, we have to be aware of it. Number one, right? We can't change any problem that we're not aware of. And that's why we do this. We come on here and we talk about these things so that you can become more aware of who you are, what it is that you do, and why you do it. Because the more information you have, the better decisions you can make on down the road. And, knowledge is power. Well, that's what I was going for. So you're going to have to use all your will to do this. And I did. I had to too. I did it today again. I'm taking care of Dion. I got to take care of myself first. Because if I can't take care of myself first, I'm really not any good to anybody else. I'm not. So, and that's between me and God. All right. So here it was. So any circumstances whatsoever, then only could I be free. Free is the big word there. Free to love. That's when you become free to love. When you have cut off all the faulty dependencies, you're going to find at the base of it, love. Love is the answer here. It's an appropriate love. This was the answer for me. Yeah, it can come from a lot of stuff, huh, Chris? Because not all mine's family. There's stuff that other people have done also. Anytime I get gaslit, I'm gonna probably go through it. It's just, and I notice it. I will notice it. So then only could I be free to love as Francis had. And here was the line that got me. Emotional and instinctual satisfactions. So what are those? Instinctual satisfactions. I know my wife loves me. I know that this is going on. I know that people aren't doing things to me. Right? And my life becomes something different. Because now that I'm not dependent on my wife to take care of me, I can love her. There's nothing left. There's nothing left but love. So emotional instincts were really the extra dividends. Extra dividends are the gifts that God gives you for doing what you do. Okay. So what are these extra dividends? Those, I saw they were really extra dividends of having love, offering love, and expressing a love appropriate to each relation of life. And that was my answer. I'm probably not going to finish this. I'm probably going to end it right there. Maybe. I don't know. See, it came down to being able to love appropriately. I wasn't loving people appropriately. I was loving them inappropriately. Not in a sexual manner, but in a way of wanting something. Right? Yeah. Okay, which means God's love. There we go. Maybe we will read. Let's go ahead and read on. Why not? Plainly, I could not avail myself to God's love. There it is. Somebody was reading forward. I'm kidding. You probably knew that. So nothing happens in this world by mistake. So there it was. I was able to offer it back to him by loving others as he would have me. Yeah. And I couldn't possibly do that as long as I was victimized by false dependencies. For my dependencies meant demand, a demand for possession and control of people and the conditions surrounding me. So everything surrounding you, everything. While these words, absolute dependency, may look like a gimmick, they are the ones that helped to trigger my release into my present degree of stability and quietness of mind. Qualities which I am now trying to consolidate by offering love to others, regardless of the return to me. Regardless. Doesn't matter what you're going to get back. Doesn't matter if you even get anything back. So don't be taking credit for other people's sobriety. And please, for the love of God, stop giving other people the credit for your sobriety and companies. Some company that can keep you sober. God keeps you sober. God gets credit for all of it. We don't get any. No. That's just icky and wrong. It's wrong, man. This seems to be the primary healing circuit, an outgoing love of God's creation and his people, by means of which we avail ourselves to his love for us. It is most clear that the real current can't flow until our paralyzing dependencies are broken and broken at death. Only then can we possibly have a glimmer of what adult love really is. God, this is fun. Thank you, guys. Spiritual calculus, you say, not a bit of it. Watch any AA of 6 months working with a new 12-step case. If the case says to devil with you, the 12-stepper only smiles and turns to another case, he doesn't feel frustrated or rejected. If his next case responds and he turns to give his love and attention to other alcoholics, yet gives none back to him, the sponsor is happy about it anyway. So we're back here talking about reaching out to others, service work. I want to listen to this. With 6 months, 6 months, yeah. A lot of people get through the steps in 6 months. None of my people seem to, but what it comes down to is when that person moves on, when my sponsees, when we're done with the 12 steps, hi Ingrid, when we're done with the 12 steps, it's time to move on. I become a closed mouth friend at that point. A friend. See, in the beginning, I'm not friends with them. Not yet. Yeah, service means God's love. So we're back around to it. We are back around. And what does it say? A 12-step only smiles and turns to another case. It doesn't say he sits there and waits for the newcomer to come up and speak to him and ask him to be the sponsor. It doesn't say that, does it? Once again, showing that we may be doing service wrong. I know in a lot of AA meetings, it's if you're willing to sponsor, and that's the wrong question. That's the wrong. Well, they got to ask for help. Fuck you, they're there. They asked for help. And if you can't see that, then I'm sorry that you don't. I don't know what else to say. So he helps somebody, and then that person gives his love and attention to other alcoholics, and the sponsor is happy about that. He still doesn't feel rejected. Instead, he rejoices that his one-time prospect is sober and happy. And if his next following case turns out in later time to be his best friend or romance, then the sponsor is most joyful. But he well knows that his happiness is a byproduct, the extra dividend of giving without any demand in return. All right. I am starting to feel like water is filling up in my head, and I'm getting dizzy, and my stomach is starting to hurt. So I got to wrap this up. I just got really nauseous for some reason. Maybe it was too much of God's love. I don't know. So to wrap this up, we do go through a lot of different things, but until we actually recognize that we are going through it, we're not going to be able to do anything about it. So let's put all of our will and all of our willpower to cut off those faulty dependencies that we have, so that we can reach out and love appropriately, so that I can go over there and help that person and watch them move on with their lives. Is what trudging together is all about. It is here for you to come and beat up on, use it so that you can move on. I love it when people move on. It means I did my job. It means I did my job. Nobody wants to listen to me every freaking day. Come on. If you do, you're nuts. You know how it is. You get sick of your own voice. So, all right. All right. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. Peace out and have a